it's Joanna again, and I inherited these old lace doilies from my great aunt. They were her mother's. She had tatted the lace and everything, and they've been sitting here and we didn't know what to do, and I actually was at Hobby Lobby recently and saw these doilies on a hoop kind of in the shape of like a Dreamcatcher. And I was like, that's such a cool idea. I'm totally gonna do that with the doilies that we have sitting around. So I have two different versions that I did. Here's the one and then the other one. So let's get started. So here's all the lace doilies that I inherited from my great grandma, and I just picked ones that fit the size of the hoop that I had ordered from Amazon from a craft from Sunday school I had left over. This one I was able to like stick between the two things and screw it. It was kind of hard because the lace was so thick to like screw it on. I actually found just gluing the hoop on with the hot glue to just the one piece was actually a lot easier for some reason. Even though I kind of had to like flip it back and forth, I still thought it was easier, and you get 2 for 1 if you have both the pieces of the hoop that work and are not broken. I ordered these off Amazon and one of the hoops actually was broken. So then I took some of the little skinnier pieces for this hoop, and some were from my great grandma, and then I also used some lace that I had gotten from clearance at a craft store. I don't even know which craft store anymore. It was a couple years ago. But you can find lace probably anywhere. I think this was Hobby Lobby because they have all those little like notions for like mixed media stuff. So I'm pretty sure that's where I got it, and I thought like the flowers on the lace were so cool. So I did this much, and then I held it up and I was like, that is not enough lace on here. So I added more and just made it wider and kept going. With the other hoop, I had wider pieces of lace, so it was actually easier, but this one I had to just keep going, and I think I could have even done more and probably like layered on top if I had enough lace, but I was running out of the skinny pieces of lace, so I just stopped with that, and I think it looks good. I felt like it needed something else though, so I went back and I had this broken bracelet and I had all the pieces from it. They said like joy, love, wish. So I laid those out. I took some of the doilies that had color to see what that looked like on top of it, but I thought it looked kind of dumb. So I just played around. There was also this cameo brooch. I think it was my great aunt's as well, different family member. And then I grabbed some flowers from the dollar store that I had to see if those would look nice. So you can just kind of play around with whatever little notions or anything you have. If you have a broken piece of jewelry, some beads, whatever. I felt like the cameo gave it a vintage feel. And I was really wanting the doily to work right and look good, but it looked terrible. So I played around with stuff in the center and on the side, and I just ended up going with the side because I felt like the angle was better, and I liked the flowers. I almost might not do white on white, but white was what I had, so if you wanted color, I think that would probably look better. And then I just hot glued the flowers, and I kind of poked them through the lace of the doily just because there was a little bit of the stem sticking out, and it was like adding a weird bump. And then I just sort of arranged it. It was a little tricky to arrange around the brooch because the flowers kept wanting to like cover it up. So you can just play around with it however you want, but I definitely recommend laying everything out before you glue. Even with the strands, just lay those out on the doily before you glue it, just to make sure you like what you're doing. And then I had 2 flowers, but I decided to add another one because sometimes less is more, but sometimes more is better. So I glued the leaves separately and then put the flower in, so you can kind of see how I arranged that. And then there you have it. I love how it looks. It looks so pretty next to my other pieces there. And then here's the other one. Like, yeah, that screw was so hard to get tight. I kind of liked the way the lace looked when it was like flipped around. So that's why I did it on that side. But that was easy in the sense that you didn't have to glue the lace together. It was just there. And then those are the wider pieces of lace that my great-grandma, I guess she actually tatted that, which is crazy. It's like so tedious. Then I had this other sign, so I tried to see if that would look okay in the middle. So I mean, you could do something like that if you had words that you wanted to add in the middle. Not even like hanging, but just like words across that and glue that on like a piece of cardboard. That would look cool. But I liked how it looked just plain like this, so that's what I did. So there you have it. And I realize most people probably don't have doilies lying around their house, but you can find them at a craft store. A lot of times when it's Valentine's, they'll have ones. And this was actually really huge. I kind of wanted to use one of the smaller hoop doilies, but I only had these big hoops. So if I were to do it again, I would get smaller hoops and use some of the smaller doilies as well. So I mean, you can do whatever size you want, and then the lace and everything pretty much can be found at a craft store for fairly inexpensive, I would think. So anyhow, I had lots of fun doing this, and there's glue. Pull all the little strings of glue from the hot glue off. And yeah, have a great day. Bye.